Weedy Weekend, number 77, Weedy. Weed Ma. Weed Ma. Weed Ma. Hey guys, it's Gord. Friends, family, all of you sufferers out there of medical conditions. It's Gord with your Weedy Weekend news. I'm off today. I'm a little off all the time, but I've been sick. I've had 2 days looking after a very sick boy. And then, to top it all off, right after I finish looking after him, I get sick. I'm sitting here with real bad tummy right now. And whenever a flu hits, wow, a fibromyalgia, you might as well just stick a bunch of pins in us because we're done. We are done. But the weed news doesn't wait for no man. It is here and we've got to talk about it. So let's start with, I want to congratulate cannabis. Why? Because cannabis won more states than Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yay for cannabis. I'm not going to get political. Yay for cannabis. I'm not going to talk politics on this. I do want to say though, because somebody mentioned it in when I said Trump this, in one of my videos, you can check it out. I just wanted to say, I spoke about what I did instead of the laws that have changed across the country, because for me, a Canadian, to study your laws and make an opinion about them takes a long time. For instance, I looked at California legalizing, but there were steps forward, there were steps back for those who grow for medical purposes. It's now way too expensive. All these nuances, I don't want to speak to, yay, they've legalized it in a bunch of areas, when legal schmeagle. Is it really legal? No. I doubt there's a state in the United States, and there isn't any place in Canada, where you cannot be arrested for this plant. So is it legal? No, it's becoming better and better regulated, allowing more and more people the opportunity to partake. It's a weird thing. I move on, and this will be below, as of that election, 28 legal medical marijuana states and DC. That's over half now. Over half of America is at least legal medically and moving towards further legalization. It's just exploding. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's going to be legal everywhere. Soon, you naysayers, and you know who you are going to be the minority, because you just are going to have nothing further to say. Nothing further to say. Let's move on, but let's cheers that with a dab, which is going to, it won't touch on this next story, but let's have this, because I'm going to get a little bit political on the next story. I want to say my anxiety is a little better after that toke, because that toke had, you haven't seen me take a toke. I took a toke just before this story, just before starting Weedy Weekend. I haven't had any medicine all morning. I've had my son here. I've been sick. I've been sicker than a dog. I think it's starting to come away, but my stomach is bad. And I should have had medicine, but I don't do medicine, or very little, when my son's around. Peace and cheers, love and harmony. Wow. And what was that? Critical Mass CBD. A 1-to-1 shatter. A really nice shatter from MMJ, TotalHealthcare.ca. And that's the shatter. I keep it around. It's a beautiful thing for the tummy. And I have some I have some CBD pills that I should be taking. And really, I'll start that tomorrow. So, next story. That was a cheers to hooray for cannabis in the election. Cannabis next time, 2020. Let's say cannabis for president. Cool. Next one is a story about you're my favorite stoner, Snoop Dogg, but yours and my not favorite company, Tweed. Tweed have become, it even says here, of course, this story I think was written by Tweed for High Times. Tweed, probably the most recognized marijuana production brand in the world, completed its state-of-the-art cannabis breeding facility as part of its Smiths Falls, Ontario headquarters. What we're talking about, this story, is Snoop Dogg tours that facility, that the world's largest indoor greenhouse, and it's for marijuana. It's the new greenhouse that was built to house the strains that are Snoop's. Snoop has his own specific strains, and Tweed has exclusive rights in Canada to deliver them to us. I will not be buying any because in order to buy any of these exclusive strains, I have to be a member of Tweed. I'm sorry, I will not. I think that they are the superstore of cannabis. They are the Walmart. That's better. The Walmart of cannabis. I don't support that, and I find it unusual that Snoop bought into this. But let me quote something here. It says, at this stage in his career, Snoop is much more than an artist, entertainer, and entrepreneur, said Mark Zekulin, the president of Tweed. He's also one of the most trusted voices in cannabis the world over. With his partnership, we're welcoming a cannabis culture icon into the Canadian industry and as a true partner of the Tweed team. Well, wonderful, but Tweed is mass producing medicine at not medicinal quality levels, at acceptable levels, and they do nothing with customer complaints. 2 different times I had stuff that was not worth smoking, and they would not take it back. They would not give a refund. They just said, I'm sorry, you don't like what we have. I left them. I left them well over a year ago, never to return. I don't care if they carry more of Snoop's stuff. I'll just not have Snoop stuff. I find I'm not so impressed by Snoop buying Tweed. Snoop does not represent the medical community that I try to represent. Love Snoop, love him. And I love the recreational side of marijuana. In my time as a youth, and even through my younger adulthood before I had pain, the recreational side of cannabis was all I knew, and it was fun. And I congratulate all of you who can still enjoy that. I can't anymore because I have pain. Pain takes most of the effects of marijuana away, except for the euphoric effects away, because it attacks pain first. But my point here is as I became more in tune with the medicinal requirements, and my channel has basically become a medicinal teaching, learning, sharing channel, is that the recreational side, I've separated myself from that a bit. And it's recreational, still illegal in Canada until next year. I focus on medicinal. Snoop Dogg has nothing to do with medicinal. The man smokes 18 blunts a day. Blunts, that means he's smoking it with tobacco and cigar material, carcinogens in the lungs. He's not helping himself. He's not promoting an active, healthy lifestyle. He's promoting getting high. And I've said it before, I smoke for pain, not for gain. He smokes for gain. He enjoys it. Power to him. I love the man. I love the man. But he doesn't represent what I represent. And we will now move on to the next story. I'm sure having anxiety from saying all that, because most of you don't get this. Like, I'll just a side note. At HempFest, some of you met me at HempFest. My partners in crime at MMJ, this was the first time they worked with me, talking with other people. I talked to over 1,000 people that weekend. They had no idea I have such horrible social anxiety. Even here, alone in my house, but I'm talking to you guys. My hands are sweaty. I'm shaky. The medicine's helping. I should have had a little more. I normally pre-game for Weedy Weekend. I have not. The child is gone now with his mom about 20 minutes ago, and that's why I started this. But that's just a little side note, or did I make the side note, that I have a lot of social anxiety, and I try to bring these stories to you, and as I talk to you about these stories, the back of my mind reminds me there's going to be some people aren't going to like what you said about Snoop Dogg, or aren't going to like what you said about Tweed. Boy, I get a lot of angry people when I talk bad about Tweed, but I think they all work for Tweed. Because I'll tell you this also. Out of the couple of thousand people I talked to at HempFest, there was one person stood up for the LPs, and he didn't say they're good quality. He just said they're doing the best they can under the circumstances. Every other person was just don't like the LPs. So that isn't Tweed specific, that's LP specific. And some of you who don't understand, some of you are watching me from the United States or from the UK, Australia, Germany. I got a lot of people from all over the place, and I love it. So I got to remember that. LP in Canada is a licensed producer. They are the only ones authorized by Health Canada. Health Canada being an arm of the government. Also seems to be a business, because they're supporting only certain businesses in this endeavor when the courts have said that that is restraining our rights of commerce. So that's what an LP is. I believe in the dispensary, not tied to the government, but paying attention to the rules of it. We do need some regulation. Not this bad. Not this bad. The next one. I shared this last Monday, and I said I will be coming back to it, and I am. I've studied it. It's not here yet. I'm hoping it comes soon, because I'd love to try it. It is Cannabis Science, a company in the United States, has developed pain patches for fibromyalgia patients. Now, I'll say this. You can already do this in Canada, just not with a patch. A patch is a wonderful thing. A way to deliver the medicine throughout the day, time released, all that kind of stuff. Great story, and I back it. I want two sides to this story to come out, though. And one of them, I'll read at the bottom, this part, but I want to say that I'm a little against them developing this patch for CBD only, because they're ignoring entourage effect. They're ignoring the symbiotic nature, the synergistic nature of CBD with THC, how it actually works better if THC is present. CBD expresses itself better. It is a better anti-inflammatory if it has THC boosting it along. Same as CBD removes some of the spikes of THC. We've been there. We've done that. I'm going to now read this to you. As more states nationwide in the United States legislate for the legalization of cannabis and cannabis-derived medications, we here at Cannabis Science are focused on developing pharmaceutical formulations and applications to supply the huge growing demand expected over the upcoming years. Fibromyalgia is estimated to affect 2 to 8% of the population. Patients with fibromyalgia experience chronic, widespread pain and a heightened pain response to pressure. That's one thing that I've meant to mention a few times and always forget is the addition of that pressure. Pressure anywhere in the body, on my hands, on my feet walking, on my legs, or laying down, but sometimes just the blanket touching your skin. Pressure can really cause pain. CBD is such a beautiful anti-inflammatory. It works so beautifully on reducing the cause of the pain, thus reducing a major amount of the pain. But with THC enhanced, it can do more, and this misses the point on that. The other point I want to make is that you can get this. You can still get the response that you want as a fibromyalgic by doing what I do. I now I have 2 of them here and another 2 in my bathroom by my bathtub. This is skin from MMJ Total Healthcare. They also make a body butter, not as strong. This is the strong side. This is also skin, CBD Dream. So 1 CBD, this one's THC, but the CBD is a 1-to-1 ratio. It has THC because THC is important. And this is THC only, but of course we'll have some CBD because it's an oil. It's a mix strong in THC. But they have so many other anti-inflammatories, antioxidants mixed in with them, and organics and everything else. The point I'm trying to make is our bodies, it has become known that the major amount of cannabinoid receptors are on the skin, our dermis. So, you take an oil like this, CBD oil, and you put, look how clean that oil is. That's a beautiful, beautiful oil. And you put that where it hurts. And believe me, my hands always hurt. But this on your hands, on your wrist, on the joints where the arthritis hits, or for me, palm erythema and arthritis, and the pain goes away. It's the same thing as what a transdermal patch will do, except it's not time released. In another half an hour, I may have to do another application. Sometimes this will keep the pain away for an hour or 2. Sometimes, if the pain's really high, I'm doing this every half hour to an hour. But I don't mind because it works and it's natural and it's good. It's a great moisturizer. My skin, I'm an old man. My skin was very, very old manish. And it's getting rid of that too. So it's promoting a good, again, as I say, when you're on the medicinal side, you promote that good, healthy living aspect into all areas of your life. So, transdermal patch, fantastic. But let's stop this crap about pure CBD. Pure CBD is not as good for you as CBD with some THC present. And THC is good for you. Just because something makes you a little euphoric, every other pharmaceutical out there, even the Tylenols, that's what they're doing. They're trying to induce your pleasure centers so that you can be happy. When you're in pain, you're not happy. My little boy had such an earache today. He was sick all weekend, and then he got better this morning and had so much energy and went out and walked the dog and all this stuff. And then an earache came, and he went from this happy, happy boy to this sad, sad, pain. Pain, it does a lot to people. I've been in so much pain lately, and I think I've cried 3 or 4 times a day. This is becoming a long, weedy weekend. Let's move to the next story. The next ones won't be so long. This one might be. This one I absolutely love. Let's have another. Right now, I have Pre-98 Bubba Kush in here from MMJ Total Healthcare. In it is some Billy Crystal cookies. It's like a wax, but it's much more crumbly, much more dry, and 82% from Pura Vida, the ones that make these wonderful, wonderful pen tops. and the medicine that's in them. They don't make the pen tops, they make the medicine. Cheers. I really love adding that cookie crumble to a bowl. Wow, it increases the strength and it actually calms it down. This next story is absolutely wonderful, fun. It's from the people that brought you grandma's try pot for the first time, things like that, nurses. This time it's veterans, some war veterans trying pot for the first time. And they discuss the benefits, not for the first time, or maybe it is. I watched it, I can't remember. But it's a wonderful 3 different people, one who smoked it back in the 60s, one who never smoked it until he was prescribed it, and one who dabbled. And how it helps them. They talk about their social anxiety and how it's understood that once you have it, you're never going to get rid of it. But at least we have a tool here where we can assist people with it, like I have, in managing it better. It's like having a dog that just never quits barking. If you can drop its bark to maybe only 3 minutes a day instead of all day long, the dog's still a nuisance. It probably still has to go, but at least it's not constant. That's what pain is like. Pain's got to go, but you know it's not going to go. But if you can bring it down. Anxiety is the same. It's always going to be there. Some things are going to inflame it worse than others. I too have PTSD. Mine is not combat related, but oh my God, I've never had anything work on the panic attacks and the anxiety better than cannabis, and not CBD. There, we are talking THC. This is a great video. It's a 5-minute, 30-second video. I suggest turning to it. I really do. It was a good one to bring out at the end of Veterans Weekend. For us, it's Remembrance Day weekend. For you guys, it's Veterans Day weekend. Same thing. It's remembering those who have either passed or hurt themselves for our benefit. Did we get benefit? I'm not going to get political. Let's move on. And cheers to all you vets. Cheers to all you vets. My heart, my pride, my love goes to you. Marijuana's positive impact on society. This is a good story. This is from theheartysoul.com, and it's Colorado marijuana tax going to the homeless in a place called Aurora, and I've been there. They are going to set aside a specific amount, $1.5 million a year for a couple of years minimum, to start pumping into hostels and other organizations that help the homeless, that feed the homeless, that house the homeless. This is the positive impact marijuana can have. I'll read this. The decision, which was approved in May 2016, has been lauded the world over as an example of how the legalization of marijuana can benefit rather than damage the local community. City Councilman Bob Roth believes it shows the people of Aurora the influence that local government can have. We wanted to be able to show citizens that we are having a positive impact on the community and point to specific projects or initiatives to where that money is going to. This is wonderful. This is, and no, there's not enough of this happening in Colorado even, never mind worldwide. This is the positive impact this plant is meant to have on society. It's sad that this probably came about because a lot of people were saying there's still too much profit in this industry. It needs to feed the society. This has come about because of good fighting from the grassroots industry of the cannabis users. They advocate for this plant. They advocate for its legalization, but its legalization has to have that positive impact on society. It has to. And it has to further change laws as we move forward for the other drugs so that we can have a good society that is health driven, not punitive. Gotta get away from punishing. I've said that about kids all my life. I don't punish. I reward the good. I ignore the bad. The bad will go away if you continue to reward the good because people like rewards. It just is. I ignore the bad. You've heard me a couple of times on here allude to something that might be a little difficult to talk about. No, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just not. I'm not going to argue. We're going to promote all the good that we can find. We're going to have a toke to that. I think we'll go with the pen this time. In here is some pre-98 Bubba Kush rosin that I made. It's a very watery rosin. It's the first time I used parchment paper instead of my no-goo containers. So it didn't turn out as good. It's still great. And we move on to another story. And I love this story. I know people with Chrons disease. I myself have irritable bowel syndrome brought on by fibromyalgia. But I know people with this disease. It's tough. And this is about a young boy who developed it because of some kind of bacteria that was in a lake. He almost drowned it. And he took in a lot of water, and that kicked off his Crohn's disease. And he had a horrible bout. And it talks about his years of different pharmaceuticals and how they were killing his liver. And he finally had to quit everything because it was killing his liver. And then Colton was told by his father, we're going to try cannabis, because his father had researched it. I'm going to read this. This is so touching. I'm going to get emotional again. Colton and his father traveled from Illinois to Colorado to access medical cannabis. He began with edible brownies and has since worked up to medical cannabis oil, which is a more effective treatment for his condition. The great news? He is #illegally healed. This is his words. I have been on cannabis for 2.5 years, and I can now officially say that I am in clinical remission. He has zero of his Crohn's disease affecting him at present. He's in remission. It may never come back. If it does come back, he's got the medicine for it. When you can remove the pain from a child just by making a medicine more accessible, power to it. Yeah, I almost teared up. Let's move on. This last story is a maddening story. I'm going to attach a YouTube video below, which is the Ottawa police chief vowing to close all the medical cannabis dispensaries. These are my words that I shared in Google, and I now share with you. These are my words. Because he said his actions will lead to successful prosecutions. If you listen to the video, you'll hear him say that. This is my response. This has to stop. The dispensaries are delivering to the rights guaranteed to us under our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But Health Canada has not delivered to those rights in the form of storefronts and getting rid of the mail system for delivering medicine. They were told that they needed storefronts, that the medical mailing delivery system for medical marijuana right now, from Tweed and Tilray and all the LPs, restrains our freedoms. And they were told to change that. They have not changed that. Dispensaries deliver to that. So the dispensaries are legal by way of the courts, but not by way of the law. The law hasn't caught up yet. And that's why the lawyers who won the Allard case warned the Toronto police chief that they are making a mistake, because these are rights cases, not legal cases. The rights have already been stated by our courts. The government has not caught up and created the proper laws and changed the laws that affect those rights. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one, because that one makes me mad. I'm tired of them shutting down dispensaries and spending tax money to keep people away from medicine. And yes, one person said on one of my Tweed things, so what that they haven't given you shatter or heavy concentrates, pure medicine yet? Make it yourself. Yeah, that I could. I do. I just showed you how I do. But not all people, especially sick people, can make their own medicine. I make my own. I have to use a clamp to get the heat to my medicine, to get the oils out, and that hurts and further exacerbates the damage that fibromyalgia already has around my chest region. So, no. The answer isn't go make your own. The answer is enable the current LPs to have storefronts and open up that ability to be just a storefront. I'll tell you this, I shared it last week. Shoppers Drug Mart, a drugstore, an apothecary, a drugstore, has applied to be an LP, yet saying to the government, we don't want to produce, we only want to dispense. They want to be a dispensary. They're already telling the government, look, all our lawyers have looked at this. This should be legal already, and it isn't yet. Make it legal and let us do it. So if you let shoppers do it, let all the dispensaries do it. And if they keep in business, it's because they're delivering to the public need. If they don't stay in business, it's because people won't buy from them, because they aren't delivering either quality or price or availability. It's a commerce. I'm for free commerce. And I do have one last thing. Last week I brought you a Cannabis 101, how to look at your medicine, how to view it, how to make decisions, whether it's poor quality, medium quality, high quality. And it was Cannabis 101 from Leafly. Leafly again brings another Cannabis 101 for those of you who wish. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to attach it. Is what is a grinder and why do I need it? I think of a grinder as a vicious tool. I almost never use them. I know it sounds funny, but to me a plant is a plant, and I know we've already killed it by breaking it and curing it and all that. But to further take and mash that plant up into powder, you end up with stuff stuck to your grinder. You end up with keef separated from your plant. I believe in the whole thing all at once. I say that, yet I squish the oil out, but I don't get rid of the rest. I make medicine out of it. So I've attached that, and wow, this is over half an hour. Not bad. Still shaky, but the medicine has helped me. I share. Oh well, what you gonna do? I wish you all the best of this last weekend. I hope you have a good week coming forward. Share with me more stories. I'll share with you more opinions. Peace and cheers, love and harmony. Let the medicine be with you.